Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the awe-inspiring landscapes, rich heritage, and deeply sustainable ethos of Austria. If you've ever found yourself wondering why Austria consistently ranks as one of the absolute best countries in the world to live in, or why its incredibly high standard of living draws people from every corner of the globe, well, you are in the right place. We are going to break down the pristine environments, the soaring alpine peaks, the historic cities, and the unique culture that make this entire country feel like an absolute masterpiece.
So, let's kick things off by asking the ultimate question. What exactly is it that draws so many people to visit and honestly fall in love with this stunning country? Is it the world-class infrastructure, the deep-rooted tradition of hospitality, or maybe it's that perfect harmony between meticulously preserved history and the raw, untamed power of nature? To figure that out, we're going to break our journey down into 5 distinct pillars: a model of sustainability, towering alpine majesty, crystal lakes and waterfalls, medieval castles and fortresses, and finally, timeless culture and heritage. Pillar number 1, a model of sustainability. Austria's pristine beauty isn't just a happy accident. It's backed by some serious hard data. Just look at this, an impressive 63% national recycling rate. And this isn't just some top-down government policy, it's a deep, personal dedication by the citizens themselves. By dramatically reducing landfill waste and conserving their natural resources, Austrians are actively preserving the exact environments that make their standard of living so incredibly high in the first place. And they absolutely do not stop at recycling. The vast majority of the country's electricity comes from clean, renewable sources like hydropower, wind, and solar energy. It's this exact commitment to a greener future that keeps the alpine air so crisp and the water so clear. It really cements Austria's leadership in the global fight against climate change.
Moving on to Pillar 2, towering alpine majesty. To truly wrap your head around the sheer awe-inspiring scale of this place, you have to look at the Posters Glacier. This thing stretches a staggering 8.4 kilometers right through the Hohe Tauern Massif, covering 18.5 square kilometers. Forming at a brutal altitude of over 3,400 meters, this enormous mass of ice descends down into the valley, creating a breathtaking spectacle that you can witness right from the famous Grossglockner High Alpine Road. What's really wild about Austria's geography is how diverse it is. On one hand, you have the Grossglockner, Austria's tallest peak, the absolute crowning jewel of the Hightower National Park, and a lush ecological haven just teeming with wildlife. But then you travel over to the Dachstein Massif, and the landscape completely flips. Suddenly you're in this rugged, dramatic environment hiding a massive subterranean network of roughly 240 identified ice caves. It's like two different worlds. And of course, we cannot talk about the Alps without talking about Tyrol. Imagine spending your winter skiing world-renowned powdery slopes, and then coming back a few months later to hike through sweeping, vibrant valleys in the summer. Coupled with the sophisticated charm of its capital city, Innsbruck, Tyrol is literally a year-round paradise for anyone looking for both pristine nature and vibrant urban culture. Which brings us to Pillar 3, crystal lakes and waterfalls. Just take a second to process this number. 380 meters. That is the jaw-dropping plunge of the Krimml waterfalls. As the 5th highest waterfalls in the entire world, they crash down with this thunderous roar. Honestly, you can practically feel the mist on your face just thinking about it. The sheer majesty of this site is so profoundly unique that it earned Krimml a prestigious European diploma. It's actually Austria's only natural monument to ever receive that honor. Austrian waters really operate in extremes, which is fascinating. While Krimml is all about untamed, misty power, over in Styria, the Grüner See, or Green Lake, is all about mesmerizing tranquility. It's highly seasonal. In the autumn, it shrinks way down to a modest little pool, revealing hiking trails and park benches. But then, as the spring snow melts, those crystal-clear waters rise up and entirely submerge the park, restoring the lake's vivid, iconic green glory.
But here's the thing. These waters aren't just there to look pretty. They are highly functional powerhouses. It is genuinely impressive how Austria ingeniously harnesses its high-altitude lakes and massive reservoirs to generate all that clean hydroelectric power we talked about earlier. Take the Margajere Reservoir, sitting way up at 2,000 meters in elevation and holding up to 3.2 million cubic meters of glacial runoff, or Lake Plansee and Heiderwang, whose pristine waters directly power the root station. It's this brilliant blend of natural splendor and hardcore engineering. And then, when the elements align and the wind completely dies down, you get locations like the Spiegelsee. That literally translates to Mirror Lake. And it creates this flawless cinematic reflection of the imposing Dachstein Mountains. It is a natural phenomenon, so serene and so perfect that photographers literally travel from all over the world just to capture that one single image. All right, let's step into Pillar 4, medieval castles and fortresses. To truly grasp the strategic dominance of these historical structures, you've got to look at Kreuzenstein Castle. Perched 266 meters above sea level just north of Vienna, it commands these sweeping, uninterrupted views of the Danube River and the Vienna woods. Now, in the Middle Ages, this elevation wasn't just for a nice view, right? It was a formidable fortification that allowed its lords to control vast stretches of Lower Austria. And a lot of these fortifications have been standing guard over the landscape for nearly 1,000 years. Just look at this timeline. Hohenwürfum Castle was commissioned on a rocky hilltop way back in 1075. Barely 5 years later, the foundations for the iconic Schloss Ort were laid on Lake Tronsee. And by 1524, Gusting Castle in southern Burgenland was acquired by the Bathiani family. And remarkably, they still maintain it to this very day. But out of all of them, perhaps none are as iconic as the Hohensalzburg Fortress. Looming majestically over Salzburg's elegant Baroque rooftops, it officially holds the title of the largest fully preserved castle in Central Europe. Offering breathtaking 360-degree views of the city and the surrounding landscapes, it remains an unmistakable landmark and a powerful testament to the region's formidable past.
Finally, we arrive at Pillar 5, timeless culture and heritage.
The cultural density in Austria is just staggering. In the Wachau Valley alone, you've got over 5,000 historic monuments woven straight through rolling vineyards. Then there's Hallstatt, that stunning lakeside village defined by ancient salt production deep within the Plassen Mountain. And, of course, the massive spiritual centers like Melk and Gutwag Abbeys, which perfectly blend active monastic life with jaw-dropping architecture. And the thing is, even the smaller towns are these perfectly preserved sanctuaries for high-quality living. Trunkkirchen, sitting right on a scenic peninsula, has been this tranquil, traffic-free haven for artists for generations. And Glumend? That's been celebrated since the 1100s as a summer retreat for its therapeutic brine and salt spot treatments. It's just a flawless combination of cultural history and ultimate wellness. We also really can't ignore the spectacular details inside those spiritual centers. When you visit places like Milk and Gutweith Abbeys, you aren't just looking at buildings, you're literally walking through 18th century Baroque grandeur. Imagine climbing a grand imperial staircase crowned by a massive fresco painted by Paul Troger in 1739. Or exploring expansive historic libraries that have safeguarded centuries of knowledge. It's exactly these features that earn them their rightful UNESCO World Heritage status. So, as we wrap up this explainer, we've seen how Austria's deep commitment to sustainability fuels an incredible quality of life, preserving its towering glaciers, ancient fortresses, and timeless culture. It really forces us to ask a larger question. If we protected our own backyards with the same fierce dedication as the Austrians, what wonders could we preserve for the next millennium? Keep your sense of wonder alive, and we'll see you on the next explainer.